Cool. So, let's get started. So, thank you for everyone who's here. There we go. Awesome. All right. So what we're going to do today, we're going to try and animate this grease pencil face. Last night I was just experimenting with my drawing style in 3D. So I actually draw like this, not when I'm doing sketches and stuff like that. And I started experimenting with the grease pencil last night, thinking of ways to sort of simplify characters and see if I can try and integrate more of my style into my film. And as much as I love the characters that I've done so far, and I can still reuse the bodies there, I can still reuse all that sort of stuff, I've been thinking of ways to try and really push the style of my stuff. So yeah, with this experiment I was surprisingly impressed with what's going on, with how it worked. So we're gonna give it a go. Yes. Thank you. So yeah, we're gonna try and get this up and running, and I think it's a pretty simple. It's gonna be a pretty simple affair. I think animating the mouth and the eyes are gonna be very straightforward. So what I'm going to do, the plan is to animate a blink. So I'm going to animate a blink with the grease pencil. You can see how messy it is because it's just a sketch. I'm going to animate a blink, and then I'm going to add a time offset modifier to this thing, so I can offset the blink timing, and then I can actually use that time offset to as a with a driver, and try and get that blink to work with the controller. So I'm going to try and do that. And I'm going to make her sort of do a head turn from left to right. So pose to pose to get some emotion into her face. And I will do an expression change as well. So I want that smile to change from that little smirk into maybe something that's a bit more surprise or something like that. So let's give that a go. And to start off with, I'm going to take off in the graph editor here, so I'm gonna actually bring up my timeline as well, so I can see my keyframes. Delete those keyframes, and I want to draw onto that. Basically, I'm going to draw straight onto her face, like so. And if anyone's wondering what this setup is, I basically got a very simple geometry, and then I've got a solidify modifier that acts as an inverted hull. So you can see that it actually inverts the normals, and then I attach a material onto that is a toon line material. So I can talk about that as well later if we have some time. And if you look at in edit mode, I've sharpened up these edges, so Shift E to bring that up to make them sharper, and that allows me to get that really sharp outline of her face with a subdivision modifier. And then I just added a bit of a smoothing to soften that up a little bit and get that looking nice and clean. So yeah, just a quick little overview of what's going on there. And I can collapse that now because I don't need that for now, join those areas. So let's start with the eyes. I'm going to try and animate a blink. So very simple. Every second frame, I'm just going to do it traditionally here. So every second frame, I'm going to add a keyframe for the blink, and it's only going to be about 5 or 6 frames, probably 10 frames. So I'm going to turn off my eye background color here with my grease pencil. If you remember, we talked about this a few weeks ago, almost a few months ago at this point. So I'm just going to animate the lines first, and then I'm going to work on the fills. So I don't want it to be like a completely closed eyelids. I want it to kind of have this sort of stylized effect here. So let's animate the next frame. I'm going to jump into draw mode, and then I'm going to make sure that my surface projection is really small, so maybe 0.01. So I want it to it's going to add the stroke on the geometry. So it's going to use the geometry as a placeholder to project onto. So 0.1. And if I draw on that now, you'll see that it projects. I'm going to go into my viewport settings as well for the object and turn on, I want to turn on onion skinning. So I always forget where to turn this stuff on. So in the viewport settings, in here, let's go to onion skin, turn that on. And let's see if that's working. So is that working? No, not yet. Let's see. In the settings, we need to turn on a few other things as well. So we need to turn on the amount of frames that before and after. That's right. So that's working. Come on. Let's just see if it's working. But it's not projecting onto this thing. No, it's not. Turn on the opacity. It's on. The keyframes are on. I need to change my material settings as well. So in the materials, make sure I have the black material enabled. And again, let's just make sure that everything's turned on. So onion skin, fade layers, fade objects. Let's see. Canvas. Canvas, next frame. Canvas. If it doesn't work, we'll just we'll deal with that some other way. Is it working in that viewport? Options, preview. I'm still getting used to the grease pencil myself, so if you're wondering why I'm having, yeah. So to answer that question, we're going to just parent them to an armature. So the face will be the face. These are actually grease pencil objects, so the objects can actually be parented to anything else, just like any other object in Blender. So once we've done that, we can actually just parent the objects, and that will be it. Really, I'm going to separate those ear lines as well. And just like any other object, we can actually separate the strokes, just like any other object in edit mode. Okay, so I'm just going to go to frame 3. Let's go into draw mode and see if that's working now. If it's not working, I can live without it. If it's being a little shit, we'll just have to deal with it in our own way. Let's just double check to see if it's enabled. Display, onion skinning, opacity, keyframes, select it. Keyframes. Custom colors, display, view in render. Thank you. So I'm having trouble. I haven't got any overlays on my actual screen. So thank you for the follow. Viewport display. Thank you again. Just making sure that's all good. Screw it. Let's just go without the bloody onion skinning. We can deal with it without it. So I just want to get a blink in there. So I'm just going to go straight to 1, 3, 5, 7 will do, and I'm just going to draw in the next frame that's more sort of like my extreme point. So I'm just going to animate that, so it goes from here to here, so you can see that, and I'm just going to draw in the in-betweens in a second. And I can actually, if I wanted to, I can actually do that too. But makes her look tired, so I'm not going to do that. But I will thicken up her eyelashes just a little bit to get that silhouette in there. Alright. That's that there. And now let's just sort of work out our in-between at frame 3. So I want it to sort of start to... And I can actually, I can't do it without the visibility of the face because it's projecting onto it. This would be a lot easier if I had the damn onion skinning working. And I'm not sure why it's not showing. Let's just double check again. Fuck it. Let's just double check again. I need my onion skinning. I need it. View. No idea why. No idea. Screw it. Alright, let's just keep going. So it's coming down. And this is a very rough animation, by the way. Very rough. So I want that to join up because I want to stay consistent with the design of the face. And I need it to go down as well. So as in this next frame, I'll kind of want her to start to bend her eyelids down. So it's getting there. I can do that as well. And I'm just really roughly doing this because the idea is to basically just see if it works, basically. So, and the grease pencil, we're using the grease pencil is super easy in terms of like operation. There's not much to it. It basically works the same way as it does in Flash. Sorry, Animate, as they call it now. And you might be wondering why I'm not doing the eyes yet, because I need to separate the eyes as objects. So in here, I can actually just remove them. So with the erase tool, I'm just going to remove the strokes of the eyes there. So there we go. So that will be a separate object. And that's looking all right. And if I wanted to, I can actually have it bounce back up quite quickly. So I can actually duplicate these keyframes as well. So if I want to duplicate the lines, I can have it just pop up straight up like so. One. And paste it in there. Maybe one in between. So I'm animating quite traditionally here. I'm not exactly right. I don't know why they bothered changing it, just because they know that Flash was dying. So let's try and add an in between in here. So I was gonna make sure that I'm not overshooting. I want to overshoot a little bit later on, but let's get that up and running. Sorry, I'm being going into animator mode, so I'm just scrubbing back and forth and seeing how it's going. So I could also speed that up and have it all animated on ones as well. So I'm just gonna do it a little bit like that. And I might add a little overshoot. So really, I want to have an overshoot like that. So I'm going to have it go higher. So I'm going to go pretty animated, pretty stylized here. Back down, back to the settle, back to how it was, like so. Oh, that's interesting. Copy that, paste that in. There we go. And I can, you know, you can see here that I haven't quite animated that line yet properly, so I'm going to yeah, this will be uploaded to YouTube most likely. This is one of those things that may determine the look of my film, so I kind of want to also make it a featured video. because it may dictate the way that I, animate the rest of my characters and stuff like that. That won't stop me from doing a rigging tutorial with a proper face, but I'm trying to consider as well the time I have to animate and time I have to do like detail. So the more stylized like I can get away with, the less overheads I have in terms of production. So that's a pretty nice looking blink. I can also, if I wanted to, I could speed that up as well and play with the speed, because a blink, obviously is a lot faster than that. And I want it to be part of a head turn, so it's going to I'm going to yeah, that looks all right, and that would be pretty good for a head turn. So I want her eyes to go from left to right as she blinks, because when you turn your head to look at another direction, you're always going to end up blinking. Doing something that it could be anything. Glorious Louie. That's a bit suggestive. It's not quite that suggestive. It's a sci-fi. I guess it's a sci-fi heist film at this stage, really. It's like a quick little pilot show of an idea I have. So that's what I'm producing. All right, so I'm going to add a new layer for the eyes, and this is normally I would rig these separately, but I don't have the time to do that. So in the grease pencil settings, there should be a layer tab. So I'm going to push a new layer, and then I call that eyes. And I want her eyes. Oh, there's the bloody grease pencil. What's going on? Why is the onion skinning working there? Interesting. Ah, that's why. Moron. I'm gonna push this little button here to turn on turn on the onion skin. There we go. I'll probably have to do some hard surface modeling, because I intend on having the characters on a motorcycle at one stage, so I have to model that up. So there will be some degree of hard surface modeling involved there. All right, so I want to have a look from that direction. I'll have to have this as a separate object. Okay. That's right. So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to make a new grease pencil object. I might just duplicate what I got here. I'm going to duplicate that. And I'm going to name that eyes. And I don't want to, I'm just duplicating it because I can't be bothered having to set up the materials again. So I'm just going to work with that and delete everything I've drawn onto that frame. And then I'm going to turn off the mirror modifier, so that should do the trick there. And if I just go into draw mode, erase all that, we can work with active layers hidden. Wrong one. All right. And this is where I could turn off grease pencil, by the way, so onion skinning. So I'm just going to turn that off. And as she blinks, her eyes move from side to side. This is really sort of really simple animation principles here. And obviously that eye is a little bit too creepy. Oh, thank you for the donation. Didn't expect that at all. Thank you very much. Awesome, thanks. So if we go from here to here, we need to fill in the keyframe there. So if I turn on onion skinning now, I can visualize how that's going to be moving. So from here to here, so I'm going to get that looking nice and smooth. And again, normally I would rig the eyes. So we can actually animate the eyes turning as she's blinking. And down here you wouldn't have anything, so just gonna draw some lines there just to fill in that frame. And we're getting that sort of effect going on. So we've got a nice little blink going on. And we can add in with the fill. So let's make sure we got the right selected keyframes there. So I want to fill in the whites of her eyes now. So as she's turning. And again, you'd have an actual, a proper object. But I'm animating very roughly today. This is a test bed, basically. A test bed animation. Active layer is locked or hidden. Unlock. Okay. Let's see if we can, oops, wrong layer. Make sure I have the right color material selected as well. So where's my materials? I want to work with white. Have I got the right object selected? There's my material. There's my layers. I can turn off onion skinning on that eye. Materials. Where's my other material? Did it disappear? And you can see that I need to project those whites of her eyes backwards as well. So I'm going to erase that line on her eyes. I'm going to lock off her top layer and delete or erase the layer underneath. So into draw mode, let's erase the whites of her eyes and redraw those because I'm projecting onto the skin and I didn't do that last night, so time to do that now. Let's see, add a new material. Wondering why there isn't a white material. There it is. Where'd you go? Alright. So I'm just going to fill that in. And I'm hoping that it will project, the eyes will project in behind it, but you never know. You can see how messy that is. But it's working on the other eye, so I can only assume that the I must have been drawing on the wrong layer there. So what's this layer here? Ah, yeah, I was drawing on the wrong layer there. I'm going to turn that off. Go back to my other eye. Alright, there you go. Draw. And this is why it's important to label shit. I mean, honestly, I'm doing a pretty shitty job here of labeling things, but sorry, just reading the comments. Yeah. When you're doing stuff like this for the first time, especially when you're like experimenting with new ideas, mistakes happen constantly. So it's really about having the patience to have an experimental mindset. But let's see how we go. Well, I hope I get to destroy every course. Because it's fun. It's fun to do this stuff. Alright. So, let's see how we go. Let's see how this animates now. And we may have to bring the eye layer forward, or the eye object forward. Yeah. So we might just fake the eyes being a little bit forward in 3D space. So in the eye layer, I'm just going to grab those and literally bring them forward. Because it's going to be very again, it's a very simple test. All right. So we got our little eyes here. I want to do the same thing with the mouth. So I want to get a slight change in expression in her mouth. And I might do the same with the eyebrows as well. So what I'm trying to do is just I'm just blocking in my ideas. And I want to do some squash and stretch as well. So we're going to do some very basic rigging. So I'm going to rig the head with a bit of a head turn and add in some squash and stretch. All right. So with the mouth, the same thing happens when you're changing your expression. You tend to have a bit of compression between each emotion. So I want her to go from sort of smile there to maybe a little bit more surprised. Let me just fill in that eye a little bit more with some whites. There we go. All right, so we've got that up and running. Let's go to the mouth. I'm going to turn on onion skinning. That's turned on. In the lines, that's good. So let's go to our draw settings. And that's working. Okay, I wonder why there's no keyframe there. There should be a keyframe. Well, let's add one. Channel, that's good. Make sure, yeah, that's the right one. Where's that other one? Grease pencil, summary. Interesting. Okay. Frame. Marker. I have no idea why there's no keyframe there, but let's add one. Insert keyframe. Duplicate active keyframe. Ah, yeah. The summary grease pencil. There's no layers. That's interesting. GP layer. And there's no material. There's a material there. So I'm not sure why it doesn't like adding keyframes there. I'm not sure why it's not showing up there either. Channel, frame, view, select. And again, it's just me being, you know, wondering how things are working here, but that's all right. But we can try and add some stuff. Let's go to the next frame. Make sure that onion skinning is turned on so I can see what's going on. And I'm really confused why I'm not seeing anything there in that keyframe there. But let's try. Once she's down, I'm just going to go flat. And then maybe a little bit of a surprise effect going on there. And again, it's just very rough. Let's see how that's going. So maybe a bit more than that in terms of animation. So let's just give her a bit more of an expression. Okay, add some mouth, add some teeth. Add some lip there. Alright, so we've got some animation there. And we can have a settle there as well. So let's have a little bit of a settle there, just to sort of break that up a little bit. Like so. And here we want to maybe add a little bit of a in between. Thanks for the follow. All right, let's see. So I think that will do. So there's a bit of animation there. Got a little bit there. So now we're going to ramp this up and give it some real personality. So we're going to give it a bit of a head turn. Hello, thank you for joining. We're going to do a bit of a head turn. So that means we have to rig this thing up. And I might also animate her eyebrows. So, you know, eyebrows, the nice thing about this is that her eyebrows are mirrored. So all I got to do is, in this case, I might just go from frame to frame and just manually... Holy crap, what's going on? Thanks for the follows, guys. I might just add a little bit of a... So when the eyes are blinking, bring those eyebrows down. So like so. Thanks for the follows, guys. As you can see, I don't have a second monitor to keep track of this stuff. And I want to settle that down again, so I'll bring that up and down, scale it down there like so. And I can also the cool thing is I can also rotate her eyebrows a little bit as well. So I want to have it sort of rotate a little bit like that. And this is a really rough and ready example. So we'll turn off the preview there. So getting a bit of personality in there. To answer your question, they are the same model. So the face is super simple. So it's just basically a slightly modified cube with a subdivision modifier. And then I'm projecting grease pencil strokes on top of the face. And then it has a very simple material setup. So an emission for the skin, and then a toon line for the outline of the face there. And that's being shown through a solidify modifier. So that's how that works. So you can see them break out like that. All right, so we've got our face. I think that will do. So what I want to do is really simply add a rig. And I could have technically rigged the eyebrows with bones as well, but I just wanted to do it very simple. All right, so with that in mind, let's play with this now. So I'm going to add a new rig, and this is going to be a very simple rig. 2 bones? It's going to be 2 joints, nothing fancy. So we're going to add an armature, single bone. I'm going to turn on viewport display in front, and I'll set it to wire, so I like having it shown as wire. I'm going to put that at the base of her neck, and then I'm going to extrude out a bone for the head and place this neck joint somewhere near the base of her ear. And as you can see, the simplest rig on the planet. Alright, so select everything there. I'm going to bind that to my rig here with automatic weights. Let's see if this works. If it doesn't work, that's okay. Okay, so that's working okay. So the head's working fine. It's all manipulating as you'd expect. I'd probably want to fill or flood that head with the top bone though. So in the bone settings there, I'm just going to assign that with 100% weighting. Same with the ears. And this is what I mean by like super simple stylized characters. The ears are literally squares. they're nothing fancy. They are literally squares. And this with a bit of nice shading, not even nice shading, just cheap as shit shading. You can get away with such simple geometry. And again, I'm going to skin that completely to the bone modifier. Actually, this is not even a rectangle. This is actually a square. This is actually a a plane. It's a plane. It's actually a very simple plane with a solidify modifier on the first one, a second solidify modifier, and then the armature. So yeah, even more crazy simple. So, all right. So now let's have a look at that head return. That's turning okay. That's looking good. The head's not following with it yet. But what I want to do, I'm going to keyframe. Look, I'm going to keyframe everything. So lock rock scale in the let's bring back my timeline so you can see what's going on. Bone 1. I'm going to start from the left like that. I'm going to have a dip into that direction. So it's really hard to see what's going on, but you'll understand in a moment. And I'm going to have her face dip down to get a sort of a little bit of a swoop. And I'll make that faster as well. So as she swoops down, the plan is to have her blink at that point. So at that point, she's going to blink. Right there. So that means I need to offset that animation somehow. That blink has to start from, instead of starting from frame 1, it has to start from frame 20. And the first thing we need to do is obviously, make sure that the face is tracking with the head. So I'll do that as well. Alright, so I'm just going to go straight into rest position at the moment, so there's no animation showing. And thank you for the compliments. So this is this is definitely a mix of 2D and 3D animation. So the idea is that in order to save some time for me when it comes to animating the characters, I'm very tempted to use a 2D face animation rig and then project it onto my 3D models. So all that work I've been showing you with modeling tutorials and stuff like that might go down the drain for the faces, but that's only with my characters in particular. But you'll see the effect that it could add to this character in a moment. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into all my grease pencil objects here, and I'm going to make them a child of the rig here. So automatic weights. Let's see if it rotates with it. Oh yeah, I'm gonna turn on pose position again. So right now they're not moving with it. Okay, let's see. Armature, bone envelopes, vertex groups. Let's see. Does it have vertex groups? I may have to change it to bone envelopes. Let's see. I want to make it a child of that, so I might actually end up doing it as a. Right now, I'm not quite familiar with how armatures are rigged to grease pencil objects, but I suspect it's simpler than that. So I might undo what I just did there with all that armature. Yeah, so that's the idea. I'm going to parent it directly to the bone. So what you just said is exactly right. Alright, so let's bring that back to pose position, rest position, that's all good. So I'm going to select everything here again, and because it's all part of their face, I'm just going to have to rig it to this one bone here. So I'm going to go Control P, set parent to bone, and let's make sure it's set to bone 001. Viewport display, relations, bone 001. Cool. Let's go to our pose position. So that's working pretty good. So we're getting there. We're just gonna, we missed an object to parent to, so we need to fix that up. Rest position. Let's make sure the eyes are also parented to that bone. And again, that should be okay. Pose position. So now we need to create a controller that can control the offset, the time offset, but we're not quite there yet. We need to actually add a bone for the nose, and we probably have to add one for the mouth as well, so it can slide around the face a little bit more nicely. So right now it's looking a little bit more weird as she turns. So first, let's get that offset up and running. So we're going to use a time offset modifier. So where that blink occurs, we're going to offset that blink to the point where she starts to so frame minus 19. And you can see how much of a difference does that make already. Just that that change in the blink timing makes such a difference. So I'm going to do the same thing for the eyes. Time offset, frame 19. Same with the eyebrows, frame 19. And normally I'd rig this properly again, but let's see. I'm not sure why the animation's up playing on the did I offset that too much? Let's see. I want that blink to have the same offset, so let's just see how that looks. Frame offset. There we go, minus 17. And that was it's still too early. So I know that when I get that level there, that's the right time. So I want to bring it up just there. And I've got the same problem with the eyeballs as well. So I'm going to give it to a time offset of, let's see. I think that's about right. Not quite. So that's where that goes. I'm not sure why the eyes are offsetting like a loop. Let's turn off the loop on all of those. So I don't want to keep the loop. We want it to just stay There we go. That's what I'm looking for. And the same with the mouth. So let's have a go here. Let's have a look at the mouth at a time offset. Turn off the loop. So as she's dipping down, again, I want to have that compression in her mouth. Not sure why it's going backwards in this case, but if so be it. So we're getting that action going on. And I might just in rather than at this moment for this this test to animate the rig up the nose and the mouth, I might just manually keyframe those as a test. So in this case, I want the nose to rotate because the nose is just a plane. It's just a single plane. So if I go to local, and then also thanks for everyone who are following. It's really cool. Yeah, really appreciate that. If you look at lock rock scale, and then we're gonna rotate the nose to sort of compensate for that movement there. Like that. And I might just, you know, this is the thing about non-realistic rendering. You kind of have to like fake the shit out of things. So in this case, it's going to move just as she's. What? So if I was to make a proper rig out of this, her nose would have to be rigged to allow me to compensate the animation. And I can still animate those grease pencil objects, by the way. I can still do that. And I'm going to animate this. I'm going to animate just the location of that mouth as well. So as she turns there. And again, I have no idea why keyframes aren't showing there, in part. In this case, I have to bring that face around like that. Everything's an illusion, if you think about it. Alright, so let's have a look here. Let's try and get some squash and stretch into that head now. So this is what should make it really sell. The idea is that you can go to into pose mode as it's turning, as the head's turning. Why the hell is the timeline not showing? Alright, so select the bone. Now I'm going to really squish and stretch that head. So what I want to do is just go squish it down in the Z, or in the Y in this case. Scale Y down, scale Y X. And then a little bit of squash and stretch in the Y again. Sorry, scale Y, scale X to squish it. That looks pretty fucking cool. It wouldn't be to a driver. I'd set up a bone, basically. Yes. I'd set up a rig for the nose to rotate, so I can move it around and rotate it according to like a camera move. That's basically the only way I can think about doing it. I tried doing it last night with a lookout constraint, but it wasn't quite what I was looking for. Plus, being able to go from left to right with the nose in a sort of mirrored sense. That's the sort of thing I'd do. I'd build a rig into that. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. And yeah, I think this is going to be the way I'm going to rig my character face, because with the right rig setup for the eyelashes and the eyebrows, it's already super expressive, and I've only spent like an hour making this. Yeah, that squash and stretch, massive difference, fucking huge difference. And that's why squash and stretch is so important in animation. And I can make that. I mean, the cool thing as well, you get really nice poses in parts. Like that's a nice pose, I think. Like that looks cool. Very animaty sort of effect. And like, if I wanted to, I could put this onto. Yeah, thank you. That's the thing. That's what I've been trying to achieve this for years for my film. Like I've been developing this idea for ages. The thing is that with Grease Pencil only really came out into the foray last year. Like it only came out last year. When you think about it, right? Or even then, 2018. So 2 years, a year and a half. So, a year and a half before that, if I was to do this, 2 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to do this. This would not have been possible. Yeah, if I want to add some light and shadow, I could. So let's have a go at that. Let's add a, before we wrap up, let's add a light source. Actually, I got a light source here. Let's bring that light in. And instead of a, this is a very basic light setup, a very basic material setup for this to work. Let's add a material. So I got my material here, and let's, oops. I don't want to merge it. Fuck. Did not want to do that. Also, let's have a look in the with fully rendered. So, all right. So what I want to do, I'm gonna bring up a material editor, shader editor. I'm going to replace this emission with a PBR. So I'm going to replace that with a principled shader. Like so. And right now it looks pretty bad. So what I want to do, I'm going to separate by XY, separate the values, separate RGB. Oops, not like that. I want to separate. How do I do this? Yeah, shader to RGB. Sorry, shader to RGB. Shader to RGB. And then I add a ramp. And in this case, it's going to be a skin color. Like so, and this is a very basic setup again. Ramp there, and then add another color for the highlight. Crunch that down like a motherfucker, and we got ourselves some basic shading there. The problem as well is that you yeah, you can use this method with Blender. You can use anything with Blender. There's no rules here. But yeah, if you wanted some light and shadow with a stylized effect, this is the most basic material you can build for like a setup like this. You can also turn it to constant, and that will give you a constant ease of light and shadow, like that. Yeah, exactly. So lots and lots of opportunities, and the nice thing as well is that the grease pencil objects also inherit light information as well. So that's kind of cool. And of course, if I wanted to add like a if I wanted to add a rim light, I could do that with a Fresnel. Shit. Let's see. A Fresnel. Let's see if we can mix that with an RGB. And this is going to be very rough. RGB. Mix it with a Fresnel. Change the color. And yeah, we can ramp that down as well. Another ramp. Color ramp like that. And if we were to, should be able to crush it down. And you can see it's popping up in the opposite direction. So we want to get that Fresnel up in the other direction. And we can get like a rim light going on. So that sort of effect, we have a sharp rim light. That's how you get that effect. And you can change the way that it occludes and all sorts of stuff. And we have this effect. So yeah, this is a really cool effect for a stylized and 3D style. It's a combination of both. So what we can expand on, I might actually start working on this in the next couple of live streams because I think it's really fun to do. If everyone is cool with that, I can continue expanding on this in the next couple of weeks, and just do live streams of this process and see how we can take it. Because I want to rig up this, add an actual proper rig to this eyes and the eyebrows and stuff like that. What do you guys think? I think it'd be pretty cool. Let's see how it looks rendered. Yeah, awesome, good stuff. Sweet. So what I want to do, what the plan is to really polish up her design in her face. And I might integrate this with Evie's original body and see how well that works as well. Depends how I like the style to be with the character, because this is more in line with my style. You know, I tend to draw like this, so let me just demonstrate. Like I have a very 90s sentiment when it comes to character design. So like community channel, I have to figure out what that is. Sorry, this is new stuff for me, man. This is new shit. I'm still learning what Twitch is all about. So this is my style of drawing. Let me just demonstrate with a bit of stuff like this. So yeah, my style is very stylized, very sharp, basically. So if if I were to do like Boss Man, for instance, this is how I'd, I would actually draw him. I would actually draw him like super angular. So I would actually, yeah. So like, it just depends on how I, Oh yeah, true. Yeah, I've been thinking about doing that. I've been thinking about it. I still have to figure out what I can manage, how I can time manage things. So I'm not sure if Discord's on the cards at the moment, just because I gotta balance a few things. Oh, thank you. Yeah, Bossman's a really fun design. When I first came up with him, I was like instantly happy with the look of him. So yeah. Yeah, I think he embodies the kind of character that I want for him to be, like personality-wise. But yeah, as an experiment, I think this will do for today, and I'm going to expand more on this in the next couple hours. I won't be doing it live stream, but so I got to mark some papers first. Yeah, I know, he totally is. I do save my streams. I do. I will upload this onto YouTube as well. So if it's interesting enough, I'll always upload it onto YouTube. Yeah, I'm doing this on my own at the moment. I'm working on my own with this film. It's, you know, not much choice as well, considering that if you guys are overseas, you might not know this, but where I'm living at the moment, we're in hard lockdown because of coronavirus. So, you know, collaborating is hard with this sort of stuff. You can do it online, but like it's not the same. Ah, damn. Yeah, sorry you missed out on this. You got here a bit late, but yeah, I'm thinking about adding a few extra days in the next couple of weeks as well. So I might stream more often as I build out more experiments and stuff like that. Because I'll be smashing out a lot more stuff in the next couple weeks. Yeah, but I think we'll wrap up there. Thanks for everyone who's following today. Thanks for those who joined. And I'm glad you guys, I'm hoping you guys enjoyed this stream today because it's been really fun, and this is all new for me as well. So like experimenting with this stuff is as much an experiment for me as it is for you guys. So as we start building out these features, I think we're going to create something really special. All right. Well, until then, I'm going to say catches, and I'll catch you in the next couple of days. And be sure to check out the next upload for both this video on YouTube and also the next video for texture painting. So that will be up in a few days as well. All right, catch you later.